it's not about the number of jobs you're applying.
If you're afraid of rejection, tech sales is not for you. Literally every day you're going to get rejected.
And I'm happy. For me it was hard, and I'm happy I had, build even more resilience.
Take us to the moment you get your job offer from Deal. What happened and how did that moment feel? Your current approach to getting into tech sales is not working. That's probably why you're on a video like this. I want you to meet Simon Makarov. He's actually one of my one-on-one clients. He was on a masterclass I held a couple months ago where I was doing a whole 2-hour deep dive into how to break into tech sales. And he took some of that stuff, started to have success with it, but he still didn't have a job. And so he reached out to my team, asked if he could get some help, and I ended up working with him one-on-one. And in just 21 days, we were able to help him land an 80K role fully remote at Deal, one of the fastest growing tech companies out there. He doesn't have former experience and he wasn't having a lot of success on his own. So he reached out for help and we were able to help him double his income. He was averaging around 40K a year in his prior role, and in just 21 days, we were able to help him 2x that. So stick around if you want to learn how we helped him do that and some of the specific tactics and strategies we use. Maybe you can implement them into your own process and start getting some momentum on your job search. So I guess where we'll start is kind of like fill us in on your background. What was your career situation? What was your life like before you decided to pursue tech sales? And why did you want to pivot?
That's a great question. So, I have an extensive experience in sales, but I was working more like in the corporate side, starting from like insurance, like door to door sales and stuff like that. So, um, I don't know. I thought like, my experience would make it a little bit easier for me to enter tech sales, which I was doing for the past 7 months, but obviously it wasn't the outcome I expected to go, because I was a little bit cocky over myself, like, oh, I can do this definitely, like within 3 weeks, a month. And it's not even about complaining about how the tough market is. It's just realizing what I could do different in order to stand out. So I don't really took the excuse of like, oh, the market is bad, there's no jobs. There's always jobs. There's always going to be jobs, and there's always going to be employment. It's just how you sort of see yourself. But the way I decided to go into tech sales is my wife. My wife sort of told me like, you have a persona to be like more in like a different part of the world, not in the old corporate mindset. So she sort of pushed me towards that until luckily, I don't know how I landed on you, and it brought me 21 days later. Here I am talking to you about it.
Amazing. Okay, so before we get to me, you said 7 months of applying, like trying
Yeah.
your own way. What was like? Why weren't you having luck? Why do you think it was not working?
So again, me thinking I have like the experience, which I do, talking to people, prospecting, and so on and so on. But um, I felt that no matter, because it's a numbers game and sales as a whole, so I thought the more I apply, the more I'm gonna get a response. So before I joined the SOAR program, let's say 6.5 months, I was just like applying with my resume and not doing anything else. Out of 865 jobs that I've applied, I've only received 12 interviews. So
Mm,
that's not a good ratio, especially if I want to be an SDR. So
yeah.
I felt like I'm doing everything right, but at the end of the day, I wasn't. I didn't
Mhm.
do what I was supposed to do as for my position for a salesperson, which I
Yeah.
always thought like, oh, I have to be professional, I have to be formal, I have to respect, ta 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 ta, until obviously the SOAR program, which
Yeah. Oh,
changed everything completely.
why do you think mass applying doesn't work? Why doesn't like networking, why doesn't that work? Because I talk to a lot of people who aren't in some kind of coaching program like Sword, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to go network for a few months and see if I can get in." And it's like, what does that even mean? Like I'm just going to go to apply to more jobs. Like why doesn't that stuff work?
Um, because you're not really standing out. It's you and 10,000 others doing the same thing. So at the end of the day, yeah, networking is good. I'm not denying that, right? But it's also the type of networking you want. Now, while I was doing it, I was thinking, okay, as a sales perspective, the more I apply, the more I will hit eventually down the line. You know, even some uh, jobs that I applied 3 months ago would probably be warm coming up later on, but I completely forgot which jobs I applied to because I wasn't really focusing necessarily maybe what I actually wanted, and I wasn't really focusing on the quality, not the quantity. You know, so
Mm.
it's not about the number of jobs you're applying. Yes, you cannot be picky. Just apply. You know, get the interview, get the practice you need. You know, do what you need to do, and build your self confidence going forward. And at the end, the offers will line up, and you can choose the best thing. But the problem with me, I wasn't even landing like to the final stage of the offer. Like the most I've ever passed was like the third interview, like out of
Mm.
let's say 6 or 5 interviews. You know, I never even got to like the mock cold stage. I never got into the assignment stage, which I wasn't aware of this, you know? So
Yeah.
here I am.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of is. If you don't know what to expect in the interview process, it's almost like one of those video games where the boss just keeps getting more impossible, and you're like, "Dude, what is happening?" Because like, the first boss is, "Can you actually get replies to your applications?" The second boss is, "Can you actually get interviews?" The third boss is, "Can you get past the recruiter?" Fourth is, "Can you get past the manager?" Fifth is, can you get past whatever the next phase is, which is usually an assignment or some kind of like mock call
Yeah.
thing. And they all require different skill sets. You can't do the same thing in every stage. So you're like 6 months in. You're probably frustrated at this point. How did that process make you feel about getting into tech sales?
Okay, that's a very good question. So first and foremost, after like the first 2 to 3 months, I was receiving this automated, you know, messages from emails like, oh, we decided to go with a different candidate, which I wasn't even landing the recruiter stable. I wasn't even passing the ATS if there is, right? Um, but dude, I don't know, like it's a little bit surreal because I apologize. I literally forgot what you just asked when I started
No, I was just asking about
rambling.
like how did it make you feel to hit all the rejection and everything? Like, did you want to give up? Were you
Okay.
still dedicated after 6 months? Like, how did it make you feel?
Okay. So throughout this process, with until the 6 months, it was difficult, but I also took it as a learning curve. As a salesperson myself, I'm used to get rejected. It's something that shaped me to be the person I am today and to get to the goal that I actually got. You know, but I sort of started to build like a layer of like, okay, I got rejected, move on, next, 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 until I'm, gonna master my craft. But it was disappointing because I had my why, like I had my goals, I had my targets, and I sort of had like a ticking clock behind me. And I was afraid to do sort of like, get like a job, which not even like tech sales, and just accept it just for the sake of it. But I knew my wife told me, like, don't just jump in the first opportunity you get. You have to explore, you have to understand, you have to, you know, explore the area to see if it's something that's going to fit you. And this is where actually she sort of pushed me, why not try, since you have a sales experience, try to be a BDR or an SDR. And that's where my shift started to pivot. And then I start reading all the descriptions, with the tech stack, the Slack, the Apollo, I'm like, all the terminology. I'm like, what is this? And I learned it fairly quickly, and obviously also thanks to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it was
Yeah.
frustrating. But at the end of the day, it sort of built me to the person I am today, to take it to my new
Yeah.
chapter.
I think something I want to highlight that is just a
Yeah,
characteristic of who you are, Simon. And this is for the listeners because people
yeah,
listening, they want to get into tech sales. What you have in spades is resilience. Like, you do not give up. And I think that is so essential to be a high performing SDR is you have to expect you're going to get slapped in the face daily. Like, it just to break it to the listeners out there, like,
yeah,
if you're afraid of rejection, tech sales is not for you. Literally every day you're going to get rejected. Now that is true, 100% true. And what is equally 100% true is getting rejected for the sake of getting rejected is not helpful. What you should be doing in light of the rejection is like, cool, I got rejected, no big deal. It's part of the process. What could I have done better? Because if you are only resilient, that turns into insanity, doing the same thing over and over, hoping it works, right? And so there's
Correct.
this balance where these two things are equally true is you have to know you're going to get slapped in the face and how can you get better. I just had a client come out of an interview today and she was voice memoing us saying, I'm so stressed. I did make it to the next round, but I'm so stressed now because it's the next round. And I told her,
Hmm.
like, honestly, you're probably not going to get this job. You're probably going to get rejected. You're probably going to get denied. You have to accept that. That's part of the process. So screw the pressure. If you're trying to get into tech
Yeah.
sales, it's going to be hard, y'all. You're not going to land your first company that you interview with. Like that's not going to happen. You are going to get rejected. But in light of the rejection, what's something you could have done better or different? And I think Simon, you did that really well. You were incredibly resilient and you were like, but teach me. I want to grow. I want to learn. It was the balance.
I do want to mention on top of that what you actually said. Remember, like in the beginning, we had a quick conversation, and I told you a little bit my sales experience. The way some tactics were used against me in a sense, like like the fear tactic, if you will, the unrealistic setup quotas, and you cannot rever like reach it. And I told you about it. So I was very open about it, and you just told me that day, like Simon, just forget it. You're in a new different pace. You're in a new different world. You need to just forget it. And since then, we had a conversation, and the next day, dude, 7 interviews. Like I literally, like I disconnected from it really quickly, and I said, like,
Mm,
I mean, why do I need this? Like that negative
dude.
thought, which is I'm an overthinker. That's like my characteristic. I'm an overthinker. That's me. But you told me
Yeah.
like with three simple words, Simon, just cancel it out from your brain, ignore it. You don't need it because it's not gonna help you.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep putting barrier in front of you. As soon as we had that conversation, dude, you saw the memo I sent you the next day. I'm like, dude, I have like 7 interviews. I don't know what to do. You told me to stop
Yeah.
applying, just focus on the interview. So
Interview prep,
yeah,
yeah. Well, this
yeah,
is biblical, man. I mean, if you think about it, like you can't bring old things into a new season. I mean,
yeah,
the Israelite people, right? They're in the wilderness and they're just like not obeying God. And before they could enter the promised land, that whole generation had to die. God is
yeah,
like, I'm not letting this mindset come into the promised land. That's not happening. And so for
correct.
you guys listening out there, you are currently believing lies and limiting beliefs about yourself that are not true. You're worried like, well, I don't have this, or I can't do this, or I don't have this background. All of those things are going to keep you held back until you ditch them and come in with a brand new mindset. And that's the conversation we had. Like, Simon, forget everything. I know what I'm doing. Trust my process. You are such a good hire. Just commit to it. And 21 days later, you landed at one of the best and fastest growing companies out there. So,
Yeah, and it's amazing because I also the conversation real quick. I literally not just forgot my previous bad experiences. I literally just presented myself as I don't have a sales experience at all, and let my new skills shine. And dude, I've learned so much in the past month, and how I flourished as my character. Like my wife always saw this in me because she's my biggest supporter, but until I felt it in within myself, like okay, I never give up. That's a fact. But that this I don't even know how to explain it, Jack. Really, like that feeling of like, oh wow, like if I can do this, aside of this, I can be good with my marriage. I can be good with my kids. I can be good with my job. I can be good with the relationship with my friends. It's like it's crazy, That's why to me it's like so many things, and it's so surreal that I'm here talking to you after 21 days, So
what
yeah,
take me to that moment when you're kind of at the end of yourself. You've tried
yeah.
your own way. It's been 6 months. What was that moment you said, I need help? And what ultimately led you to joining Sword?
So first and foremost, I've been following you on LinkedIn for quite some time, and I keep seeing like the remote job Mondays that you keep posting, which I did apply to some of those jobs, and you always tag the person, but I never send them video or anything like that. I just clicked website and applied. Um, but I just saw like I started looking into your YouTube videos. I saw some people landing jobs, and to me it was like I'm a very skeptical person sometimes too. Like I wasn't really sure if that's like real, not real, if it's something that is another ad that a lot of people on YouTube also put on. But for some reason, when I messaged you the first time, I'm like, okay, it's a person, it's not a bot. Then I decided to join you had that seminar, and I said, okay, it's free, so he's not asking, for anything. I'm like, okay, let's try it. I tried it, and then I listened to you, how your story and what, happened to you before and where you are now, and you're a family man, which I idolize very much. And I said to my wife, like, babe, listen, I have to bet on myself. Like, there's no, like, I'm missing that 20 to 25% push direction for someone to sort of hold my hand and guide me to the proper direction. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. Like, I have nothing to lose, dude. I might die tomorrow, and then I might die with regret. But I wanted to do it specifically, to nail what I wanted to nail.
You were saying you told your wife that you told your wife something, and then we got
Yeah.
cut out there.
So I told my wife, like, there's this guy Jack. He's been following for quite some time on LinkedIn. He has great reach out and ta ta ta. And I saw his sword program and so on. So we spoke about it. It was a lot of back and forth, But then at the end of the day, she told me, if you think this is the thing you need, then you should take the leap and trust yourself. And this is probably one of the few things that I had, when I trust my gut. Also, as a salesperson, like, I have that little gut instinct. I said to myself, like, I have nothing to lose, I don't want to, like, regret it 6 months. Like, even sometimes till this day, I tell her, I wish I knew you 6 months ago. So things could have
Mm,
been different, but maybe it had to be that the way it planned out by who. So for me to go through 6 7
yeah.
months not finding a job, to come to you, for you to, like, slap me and say, like, okay, this is the what we need to do, then it is what it is. So I invested in myself because I'm investing in myself. It's not about the short term investment, Jack. It's the long term investment. This is what I need everybody to understand.
Hmm.
It's not about me getting a job and enjoying it for 6 months and that's it. No, this is like an opportunity for people to build a career, not just to have a job. This is something to grow and learn more as you go through this. And again, I tell this to everybody, all my friends. If you do something and it's very easy for you, unfortunately, this is not the thing for you. And I'm happy, for me it was hard, and I'm happy I had build even more resilience. I was able to be more coachable. I started to listen more, like things that, not just to say in an interview, but something that you can take and actually prove it with your action. Not just talk about it, do it. So, dude, I had to take it because
So
I
good.
could die tomorrow, and then be like, oh, I should have taken that class, So I can't live with life that way. So
Yeah. Well, I think the population that's listening to
yeah,
this, honestly, they're either just curious about tech sales, they're kind of new, or most people have been trying to get in for a
yeah.
while. Like they've done the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 months on their own trying to get in. What would you tell those people about what needs to change?
Uh, that's a good question. So first and foremost, if they've been doing it for 6 plus months, it means their character, they're never gonna they're not quitters, right? So there's something already in there that will fit to the tech sales, because sales as a whole is like this. Tech sales, you have to run, dude. Like, you have to, it's everything fast paced, So you have to get used to something different, especially for someone who never had experience in sales or in tech sales as a whole. But what I would do differently is, at least, if for no for some people it could be a little bit difficult regarding finance and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know. Is to literally listen to you, follow you, let's say on LinkedIn, and look at the seminars you have, or even the free packet you provide, which is, it's phenomenal. Like, the way you wrote everything, it's like, for a simple Joe like me to understand, dude. Like, I salute you for that, and especially when your daughter Charlotte was born too, you were able to juggle and you were still responsive, and, like, dude, like, I have nothing nothing to say about that. You were still there, aside of not just me and all other your clients that
Mm,
you're helping. So I want to thank you for that, dude.
mm.
Like, it wasn't easy, So
Yeah. It makes it easier when I have someone who's dedicated and committed to the work. So thank
100%.
you. That goes back to you. You made it easier. What's one specific strategy or mindset shift that you learned in Sword that completely changed your job search?
Wow. The consistency, first and foremost. I was waking up every day. Before you, I didn't have a structure. I would just come in, apply for a few jobs, and go by my business. You gave like a structure where I had to hold myself accountable, especially if you want a remote position, you need to hold yourself accountable. You have to. You have to present that. It's something that can be taught, but if it's something that's coming from you, specifically, then the sky's the limit at this point. And what I've learned the most is how to approach each conversation, because what I've been doing with the program is, Jack, and you know this, it's 1,000%. I'm going to be applying this to my new role right now. And I'm already equipped with the knowledge and the tools, the proper terminology, the proper, let's say, how to fit my personality, into like a new world. It's not something that I could have been taught by myself, to a degree. And the
Mm.
outreach and the cold emails, the cold calls, the tech stack that you provide. This is not something that can be like, just taught by yourself by looking at YouTube. You have to actually put your physicality into it in order to, get it quickly, which I didn't know what Apollo is, Jack, but within 2 days, I was going like this already. Like I already knew, I knew what Apollo is. And 2 months ago, I told my wife, like, what is Apollo? What's the description? Must know Apollo. I didn't know what that was. And in 2 days, I learned it, so
Yeah.
it's all in here.
Do the job to get the job, man.
Thousand
Do the job
percent,
to get the job.
thousand
You got to
percent.
do it. Take us to the moment you get your job offer from Deal. What happened and how did that moment feel?
Okay, I still remember like it was yesterday. It was so I had my final interview on Thursday and I was told close the interview, which I did. Always close the interview, guys. It's very important. But
Mhm.
they told me they will come back to me today, the same day, but they didn't. So I was like stressing out. You know me, I'm like starting to overflow with feelings. But the next day, I receive a phone call, well, an email saying, "Can we jump on a phone call? I want to like tell you something from the recruiter." And I was eating lunch with my wife. She told me she will call me in 20 minutes. I received the phone call. I drop everything. I go outside, and she, with the most enthusiastic uh, conversation she had, Simon, you were absolutely amazing across all boards. Everybody saw how you stood out. You were like the number one out of all the picks. And I'm like, oh my god, right with the compliments. And I'm like, so it's a good thing. She goes, yeah, we want to extend your offer, dude. And I literally like go back 7 months. Everything came to that little millisecond of a moment. And I told this to my wife. I literally almost started crying. And it's not because it's a painful cry. It's a cry of joy because I'm very proud of myself. I patted myself on the back through the journey I came, and it's all the 7 months that we're building here and all the pressure. Everything just disappeared, lifted out of my shoulders, and I'm like, told my wife, now we can go plan to live in Miami, which was our number one goal. So I was like, I was like, babe, pack your bags, we got the contract. So to me, it was like so surreal, and I still, till now, I cannot, I cannot believe, I literally almost teared up. Like I even told the recruiter,
Yeah.
like, you're gonna make me cry. And she's like, oh, don't. I'm like, you have no idea how long I was waiting for that call. You have no idea. So yeah,
Oh my goodness. You're the third client this week. I've done 3 of these. This is my third this week, who has said a weight has lifted off your shoulders.
yeah.
It's just interesting because it's so much pressure. It's so much, um, yeah, pressure. I don't know. Is there another word?
Yeah, there is. Now it's obviously individually depending, individually to someone, right? So if someone's 18, 19, 20, it's probably different because he's in a different stage of his life. I'm like 31, I'm married, I want to have kids, like I want to leave my parents' house, like there's so many aspects like outside stress that I had to like sort of block and cancel the noise to set my goal. And obviously the rejections and the fights and the tears, the sweat, the blood, the fighting, and all of that came down to like, I don't care the surrounding noise. I'll deal with it later. I have a target. I have my whys, which I started not just like, not to believe in my whys, because my why is my why and it's individually to me, but it's that little, seed of like, this is what I have to do. Like, if I just hop to tech sales, sky's the limit. Like, I already know what I want to be going on. Like in 11 months, I already spoke with my manager before I even started. Like, I have ideas, like, where I want to move. She goes, I love your energy. Like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to crush quotas. And dude, it's just a fulfillment that you cannot describe it. You really can't, like, yeah, it just says words, things lifted out of your shoulders, and, everything went into peace. But it's very individually, because everybody has their own goals, has their own targets in life. And I feel like just getting that phone call, it's it's a game changer. I might have reacted differently if I got that phone call 8 years ago, for sure. But now, because I have to have a family, I want to have a family, I want to travel with my wife, I want to have a house. And as much as silly as it sounds to land a job offer at tech sales, it's more than that. It's what I've done, to
Mm.
get to that. So there's so many
To
words.
become that
Yeah,
person, yeah.
yeah, for sure. So
You literally became a different version of Simon
yeah, you
through
remember?
the process.
Yeah,
So,
and I
yeah,
believe that.
I do. I do. Trust me. And that was only like a couple of weeks ago. It's so crazy. I'm
Yeah,
so proud of you, man. You
thank you,
grew like a weed, as we say. It's a good thing.
thank you.
Um, how speaking of, like, how do you actually expect this new role to impact your life? Income, remote work, career growth, like what is the actual impact going to be for you as you get started?
So the biggest impact for me, I even like, we talked about the pay too here and there. I had a lot of questions with that, but you taught me something very important, Jack. It's the three P's, not the structure for the star interview, but the three P's: the the pay, product, and people. Which I always
Mhm.
stood. As soon as you said that, it was drilled here. Because I could have went to a different company who had sort of like final interview, which they passed me through, and they said they have a better pay, but you know things didn't align with my beliefs and goals, per se. So you have to make sacrifices. So for me, the product is amazing where I landed. The people are phenomenal. Some people who worked in other companies, like account executives, Oracle, Monday, Salesforce, coming in to here, and I'm going to be surrounded by those people. This is something money cannot buy, and I want to always be around people who want to grow, and I'm always, coachable, and I want to get as much information as possible. So for me, the impact that I'm going to make is obviously grow with them together and see each day how I can keep evolving and what kind of person I'm going to become a year from now, where I'm going to be. And this is like the
Mm.
most exciting chapter. Money comes and goes, but the beginning is always the sweetest, and the people you're going to be surrounding and the product that I'm going to be behind, it's like I said,
Mm.
the pay is fine. Like I'm gonna exceed quota anyway, so it shouldn't
Yeah.
it shouldn't matter to me, So, uh,
Yeah, whatever. It's the floor.
yeah,
Yeah, and just so the listeners know, what Simon is talking about is when you're looking at job offers, you want to look for three things. It's the product, the people, and the pay. And usually you have to only pick two out of the three. Usually you're not going to get all three.
correct.
Sometimes it happens, you get a dream job, but you have to decide what's worth it. Do I want to work for a company where I love the product and the pay is great? But the people are, that's okay. I'm going to go grind and do my own thing. I don't really care about the people that much. Or do I want to work somewhere where the people are great, the pay is great, but I'm selling traffic cones? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what I sell as long as I have good people and good pay. So you only get to pick two out of the three. And Simon, what you're saying, man, is you found a company with a great product, great people. The pay's good. I mean, it's double-ish what you were averaging before, but it's also not like a 100K roll right away. But this has the growth potential and the career potential to turn into six figures really quickly. And so for the listeners, yeah, just be cognizant. You're not going to get all three. It's very rare. You just have to pick which one am I willing to sacrifice to get the other two.
And my hint is everybody to each own, but I would sacrifice the pay because there's always average in SDRs and there's always going to be an OTE. The OTE, you can always get it because if you have the product and the people who support you, the pay is going to come. So the pay is going to be the sacrifice, which is to a lot of people, it's not the obvious one for some reason because we want to make as much money as
Mhm.
possible. But if you're already coming from the SOAR program with that mindset and you're resilient and you're coachable, the pay shouldn't be an issue because you're going to be exceeding quota, making 80, 90, 100 a year. So this is the way my
So
personal
good.
little tip
That's a
for you
really good
guys,
point.
so
Yeah, and just to add to that, that's a great point, Simon. To add to that, just because you see a pretty shiny OTE doesn't mean it's attainable. Happens all the time. I
exactly.
see people, I got a 100K job offer. The team's averaging 70K. It's like, okay, that means nothing. You
Yeah.
might as well offer me a 70K job. I'd rather you just be honest. So you got to do your diligence there. Last
Yeah.
question, Simon. For someone considering joining Sword, what would you tell them about how Sword helped you land your tech sales offer?
Wow. So again, first and foremost, Jack, your SOAR program is amazing. I couldn't be more thankful for you and the way you did everything, and laid out for like the most simplest terms and not necessarily to be above anybody, which wasn't at all. Was literally like to simplify the things to go. But if someone who's, we would say a little bit on the fence and not sure or whatever, is you don't have to jump right away. You can literally just do the free course you have, for example, or whatever. But my opinion, and this is partly my opinion, guys, I would go for it. Like, uh, I have the things you learn and the things you are part of. It's not just you, Jack, saying, "Okay, you got the job. I'll see you later." No, you also building a community. You're part of outside of community beside your job. Jack is a great person. He's going to be there for you from day one. You're struggling with something, he's going to be there for you. And just trust yourself. At the end of the day, it's not easy. It's really not easy. And you have to be accountable for your own job because Jack is not going to do the things for you. He's not. I'm telling you this right now. You have to do the job to get the job. It's impossible not to do that. It's not like you did the program, you're laying back, and Jack is finding you a job. No, no, no. This is not the mindset you need to do. You have to understand, even if you don't have experience in sales, you have to build yourself up step by step. And with that program, I'm very thankful that I was able to do that in 21 days. And you guys have to take the leap and trust yourself, really. Like, there's nothing else. Because with someone with an experience in sales, I wasn't able to do that in 7 months. And I did it within 21 days with Jack. So that proves you that something is working. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, you are just such a shining example of
thank you, man.
what can happen when you take immense action, you commit to something, and you go all in, how quickly life can change. And so
Thousand
I just want to
percent.
say thank you, Simon.
Thank you,
You're going to
Jack.
be joining the masterclass next week. I'm excited to have you on. By the time this is posted, it'll probably be a month ago. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm very excited to have you.
Me too, man.
And man, I want to say thank you for being a gold star student of Sword.
Thank
This
you,
is
man.
just the beginning for you.
I know. I know. Thanks, man. And I appreciate you. And I'll see you soon.
Man, I'm so proud of that guy. Simon came into Sword with just different like limiting beliefs and different fears and worries about, can he do this? Is he worthy? Does he have the skills? And he knew he did, but he didn't know how to get it all together to get a job offer. I mean, he had been applying for half a year on his own. Um, and as skilled as he is, I mean, you guys just saw a great communicator, very passionate. He still wasn't able to do it. And so if you are out there and you're still on this tech sales job search, but you're tired of just trying on your own, I want to help you. And there's 2 resources below that will help you. One is what Simon referenced. It's the free guide and free community. So I've got this community of over 2,000, almost 3,000 people that are trying to break into tech sales, just like you are. And in there is a bunch of free training that's going to help you actually start landing interviews, stop getting ghosted by recruiters, potentially land offers. I've got people in there every month that write me and say, "Hey, Jack, landed a job offer using the guide." So definitely go there at minimum if you need help. But if you're looking to do what Simon did and go land a job in 21 days, that's what Sword specializes in. I work one-on-one with people to get them into tech sales. He talked about the investment side, and that's usually what people get freaked out by is like, oh no, I have to pay to land a job. And I think that's a really small-minded way of thinking, where what Simon said is you're investing in yourself. You're becoming not only a different person, but you're getting access to a whole different career path. And right now you do not have the skills to do it. Otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. You would be listening to a podcast about how to be the best SDR ever because you're already an SDR. And that's okay. There's humility in accepting that where I currently am, I don't have the sufficient skill set needed to go change my life the way I want to. And that's why coaches exist, because I know exactly what you need to get you a job in 21 days. Done it for over 200 people, 99% success rate. And to make the investment side easier, we even do a 90-day guarantee where if you're showing up and you're putting in the work and you don't get a job in 90 days you're happy with, we'll actually give you the option of getting your full investment back or continuing to work with us until you land a great job. So we are here to help you, whether that's through the free guide, free community, or you're ready to go do this thing in the next few weeks through coaching. There's a link down there to meet with our team if you want to do that. We'll see if you qualify. But either way, we want to help you as you continue to work your way into tech sales. Do not give up, but also don't do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Thanks.